Hey, long time no speak. I do apologize. So this video isn't going to be for everybody, 100%. Excuse the voice. It is definitely a throat chakra issue as it's being silenced, the voice, my truth, my perception. So, this video isn't going to be easy for me, but when did I ever shirk away from things because they weren't easy? And so I want to speak about what's been going on with me and why I haven't been on here and why I've missed you all terribly. I want to speak about the things that have been going on, and those things have been absolutely disgraceful, absolutely disgusting. And it is definitely a history loop that we are going into where the people shun the enlightened. The same old biblical story, the same old stories before that. The very reason that people of the craft and people of the knowing ended up having secret societies. The same thing has been happening to me that has happened many, many times before and has created even the need for secret societies, which has opened up the space that we live in right now of disorder and imbalance, because some of those secret societies, because they became secret, because a lot of the people having to do that to keep their craft, to be able to stay safe, would become very angry at the fact that they were no longer welcome in a space of the controlled, in a space of the manipulated. And that is exactly what has been happening with me. And these people that I was speaking to, a lot of them, and I mean a lot of them, so I'm going to clarify why not all of them soon. These people that I'd been speaking to couldn't get out of the room for people wanting to either thank me for what I'd said in giving them strength to go forward in their own life in various different ways, or for questions to be asked, spirituality questions. And so, all of that and above, I've been helping people within that community, really throw myself into being a quiet helper, not the type of helper that tells everybody what they've done for who and when and keeps that tally. It's not giving. And so this is an age-old story that I've been sort of getting a real personal, annoying insight to, that has gone on and on and on. And it is the core of the reason that we are living under the controlling mechanisms that we are living under today, where people attack the people, and they attack the people that have got a spiritual truth, a physical truth and spiritual truth to tell, a stance that would actually make a change, that these people pretend to be so detached from and in hatred of, and all of the rest. But when it comes down to it, they mimic it perfectly. So I got given a car, as you all know. I got given a car by a man who was making it his mission to donate to as many women as possible in different ways, under the guise of him being a very friendly, very, compassionate guy who cared about the children, who cared about freedom and divinity and sovereignty, and really making a big fuss about caring about all of that. And so this car, as you all know, I learned to accept a gift, because that's something I'm not good at. I'm good at giving, not receiving. And so this is a gift that was really thrust upon me. I didn't ask for it. I had my little runaround banger that he told me was undrivable, unsafe. The people who sold you it, which are my friends, that I know wouldn't sell me a banger, but there was just a knock that the old owner of my banger car had known about and tried to get fixed, but it was one of those problems that, you know, it's a diagnostic thing. You go through different aspects of the car. It had its age, so, you know, but it was a real blessing to me, and I was clear of any debt with it, and it got me around. But this knock was there, and I just wanted to get it fixed well before the MOT. I thought it was a trackward end issue. And so this is quite detailed to go into detail, because this is me at my absolute fucking wit's end. And so being through hell, and these people that are cheering for it. Anyway, so I get that gift, and it was told to me that this car, this banger, was undrivable, unsafe, and the people that sold me it were terrible. I didn't believe that for 1 minute, but I believed his point of view that he knew about cars, and that was, you know, oh damn, I'll have to get it fixed. So it said to him, well, you know, I can save up, I can get another one, but do you know a mechanic? And it was like, yeah, I do, but. And he was, the next thing I know, this car thing came up. He enrolled my friend, another male, to go with him to get it. This other male knew I wouldn't accept it easily, witnessed me saying, I can't accept this. And him saying, please, we need people like you in the community. We need you to get around safely because you help so many people. Something I haven't actually stopped doing, actually. Nothing's changed at my end that way. I didn't need his damn car or any other car to do that, because I would still give freely. And so this car's been made a big fuss of. At this point, I've got so many people saying, no, Jenny, accept your worth, please. You know, the whole room at this Airbox in Cramlington that was happy to listen to my teachings, happy to cheer, was glad and as well. And it wasn't an oddity, because he was already doing these other donations for many other things. So, you know, there was the gift accepted. Throughout it, I still didn't feel quite comfortable, still made a fuss of, I don't feel comfortable about this. You know, I'll give you some payment for it. This doesn't feel too right. And all of that time being, no, this is a gift. No, please don't do that. This is a gift. This is not, this is for yours. Legally, I've got the papers to say it is. Please don't do that. Please, you need it. You know, that's it. That's the end of it. He went round to many people, witnesses that can be called, actually, going on and on about the fact that he'd done this thing, that he got this gift. Now, it wasn't odd either, because the fact that while he was doing this, very soon after, he was buying 2 more cars for 2 more women that he didn't want any payment for, blah, blah, blah. Of course, these women were caught on. They'd seen me be uncomfortable about various different things, and they'd seen me not be quite happy, and maybe this gift isn't a gift at all, or it is a gift with an ill intent, not with the intent that he had of, you help people, I want you on the road, this is my donation. So the next thing I know, I haven't done anything to this guy, I haven't upset him or anything like that, but the next thing I know, he's upsetting a friend. And in my judgment, there was a way that shouldn't be upset. You shouldn't be upsetting people. And then other little niggles started to come in. Intuitively, I just never could feel quite comfortable. And so the next thing is, this man makes an excuse to bring a printer to my house. He witnessed somebody in the group at Cramlington Airbox hear about me needing a printer for my teas. And he said, I've got one that's sat there, it's never been used, and it given this other man free teas for his wife and things like that. So it was a kindness that he said, let me do this for you. And he was, this Philip Cagill, was just there present to the conversation. He wasn't a part of the conversation, he was just there. I didn't get to the next Thursday. So the next Thursday comes, he's obviously seen this very kind man carrying in a printer and seeing that, you know, there. Now, Philip, the guy who gave me this car, lives in the opposite direction of me, but he comes out of his way to bring this printer to me. Therefore, he went out of his way without anybody asking him to see that printer box and say, I'll take it to her, when this man who was donating this printer was literally 5 minutes away from me. I could have gone and gotten it at any time. And so I'm on the phone to my friend, again, happy to be witness, on speakerphone, put in charity bags in the damn car, because if I leave them in my bedroom one more night, I'm not going to get them done the next day, and they would still be there. So it's late-ish, very well, 10 o'clock-ish, and so I'm putting bags in and out the car. I kept dropping the keys, so I put them in my front door, because I wasn't even hardly shutting the door. I was just kicking it to, so that the rabbit wouldn't get out. And so as I'm walking around upstairs getting another bag, I hear something. Standing at the top of my landing, I am saying to my friend on the speakerphone, speak loudly, because there's somebody coming to my house. So my friend does speak loudly, and I hear the door shut real quiet. I came down, and at that point I knew it was Phil, because who else would see a printer and bring it over and put it in my door at that time without saying a word? I was standing at the top of the stairs, armed, ready to protect the boys that were in bed. The next thing I know, I get confirmation that it was him, because he sends me a smarmy message saying, mind, I won't be buying you another car if you're just going to leave your keys in the front door. Strange. Any friend I know would shout up, hello, have you left your keys in the front door by mistake? Are you okay? Or they would have texted to say they're coming anyway. Or they wouldn't have gone out of their way to butt into something to be able to bring it to my home. So he sends me this smarmy message about, I won't be buying you another car if you're just going to leave your keys in the door. And I have to come out of my way. It's my logistics that I have to work out. You have to realize this, to do things, to drop this printer off. My response, nobody fucking asked you. You deliberately butted in. You did not shout up the stairs. My friend can be witness to that. That was silence. But you confirmed to my friend, who wouldn't have known it was you because you were silent. Can be confirmed then it is you from your own fucking mouth. So to that point, it's, well, I didn't ask you to do that. And actually you give me a real shock, a terrible shock. That isn't fair to do. I was upstairs ready to protect the boys. And I got some smarmy message back. Alarm bells. Not long after that, and this man phoned me a lot, and I was there for him. I was there for him when he was crying. I was there for him when he was upset. I was there for him when he was frustrated. On the phone. So at this point, this man doesn't hear from me because I don't answer the telegram for 2 days. And his excuse is that he's worried about me. Why? I'm a grown woman, I'm busy, and you've already upset me, so I'm not going to answer the phone to you. So at that point, this man comes over to my home again late at night, and he starts knocking on the door, shouting my name through the door. Embarrassing for the neighbors. I was on a video call to American clients for a business reading, and they could hear him shouting. They were worried. I had to end that call, that it was my business, and sit and wait for him to go away. He starts banging on the letterbox, and he holds the letterbox open. Again, confirmed by his own damn words. he heard people talking through the letterbox, yet he continued shouting my name, trying my handle, and banging on the door. Then there is another occasion very soon after that, after I sent him a strong message to say how fucking dare he, and don't think for 1 minute you get in that car allows you the opportunity to just come to my home and act that way, and how strange it is. Then I go, I think it's a few more days later, or it might have been a bit longer. I'll have to look at the messages. He comes back a third time because he hasn't heard from me. This time the goon is banging on my door. Again, that my friend could hear over the phone, another friend, because I phoned up panicked. They can hear this. And then when he's finished not getting an answer from the front door, again, unannounced late at night, sorry, he tries the handle, and you can see the handle being tried and then pushed down and not going up for quite a while. He goes out of my gate, and I watched you, you fucking narcissistic prick. I watched you get in your van and reverse back out of what you thought was view. And at that point, you start phoning Telegram, to which again, my friend can be witness to. You start phoning Telegram for hours and hours and hours. Again, I have witnesses to it because my friends then came to my home. They just missed you and sat with me for ages afterwards, finding it unbelievable that you were still ringing Telegram after the first hour, after the second hour, and so on and so fucking forth for the rest of the night. What kind of obsessive narcissistic prick does that? So at that point, this man is sent a message to say, no, no, I need space from this. Don't you dare think you could do that. And then I go on to list the personal reasons why it was so unfair to do that after I've already told him, this man just donated to me for the good work that I do. You know, he wanted to help around in people's gardens. Come and see my garden. He didn't do that fucking much. And always, every time my friend was with me, there was a closeness in the veneer of, oh, we're all in this together. No other closeness, just like any follower or person, he was donating to many good causes. And has offered just recently to buy another fucking car for somebody who he wants to pay off for their opinion. So at this point, this man is cut off. I go to these Thursday meetings. The Thursday meetings I couldn't get out of for people saying thank you. I go to these Thursday meetings and every week I'm asked to talk. Never did I ask to talk. The only time I took the mic off where it was my decision where I wanted to talk, but I usually don't care either way, was when somebody was talking about symbolism. And it was the biggest bullshit I'd ever heard, frightening people, not giving them any power or knowledge. So at that point, I'm going to these Thursdays, I'm still being asked to speak. And slowly but surely, I start to see the glares. Slowly but surely, I start to see people looking. I'm thinking, what the fuck? So then I get this man watching me from the other side of the room and sending a woman to me, another woman that he's doing a lot for, sending a woman to me, asking, why have I broken this man's heart? He's so upset. Why did I do that? Why won't I speak to him? Never mention in the car, just he does so much for you. What? He donated that? What? He tried to do it to 2 other women the same fucking month? What? Should I list what I've done for him? Should I list what I've done for all of the people he said he wanted to support me for because I was helping them? That he saw me running around in the background, doing just more than speaking, actually delivering clothes to people, actually delivering food to people. So this woman is told in the middle of this Thursday group where I've brought my children to play, because it's all for the kids, isn't it? Asking me to tell her why I have made the decision for me and my family that any one of you fuckers would make to tell him where to go. She still didn't get an answer off me. I told her it was none of her business and that I'm not here to divide the group. Just know that I have made a decision for my family and myself. It's all she got out of me, even when she was asking. So this man at that point, I start to realize, well, people start to tell me, clients are coming to me on their energy sessions and telling me they've either overheard or they were actually one of these people who he was getting one screenshot out, not just the messages, no, one screenshot out of me saying, no, you're not intruding. That was actually after he was in tears like a baby over something and he'd been on the phone for ages. So at this point, and you know, if I'm not getting word for word, forgive me, because to me, this should have been a story that did not get cleared out amongst awake and aware, enlightened people, but I should have known. So then I start to find out more and more that he is going round to every Tom, Dick, and fucking Harry to tell them that I am going round calling him a stalker, calling him a stalker, ruining his reputation, and how cruel I've been for no reason at all. He's going around doing it. He's actually turning on tears for a number of them. What? I went through something that you caused, yet you go around speaking to everybody and you putting on the tears, grown man. But I stay quiet so not to divide the group. So not one of you can come up to me and say, I came to you and called him a stalker. The only people I spoke to about what had happened at my home was really close friends that did not speak of it. That I knew wouldn't judge either way, would just be annoying. So this is going on. Now this man, get this, he goes to nearly every group up and down from Hartlepool to Newcastle and beyond, down south. So you can imagine, I'm getting reports from way off places I don't even know of. He stands up on another person's court date and spouts off this rhetoric about how I'm calling him a stalker. I want you to remember that word never came out of my mouth. Ever. None of you would have even known about what he'd done to my home, at my home, if it wasn't for him telling it. Why? Because he's trying to hide something. Why is he using the name stalker? Because that's the word he is most afraid of. Why is he so afraid of that fucking word? Because it didn't come out of my mouth. So then this gets really weird, okay? So I'm getting messages here, there, and everywhere. Then I start to get going to the Thursdays, still being asked to speak, but when I'm speaking, people are sort of like looking away or they're glaring at me. He's watching me from the other side of the room and I start to think, fuck me. And there are other problems at this group. The negativity, the poison, the people that are welcome there that I know of actually and are still torturing people. Talking about living by common law and they don't pay any council tax. They don't pay any fucking council tax because they extorted a man. staying there because they like the area. Doesn't add up. And again, people only know about that out of their own drunk mouth. So at this point, I think, fuck it, I'm not going there. It's not nice, it's dangerous, it's poisonous. So then my little boy, who loves to bounce, who loves to play with friends, roll around like puppies, like they should, my little boy's begging to go back. My older one, not so bothered, begging to go back to play with his friends. So my friends take him, not last week, but the week before. My friends take him and he has a ball, and my friends looked after him beautifully, and they came home happy that they'd taken him out because he's such a little beautiful character. And Theo came home, you know, bouncing, happy, happy, happy. So it worked. Now the following week, I think it was of the 20th, let me check, 20th of this month. Yeah, it would have been the 20th. The following week, they didn't want to take him because they didn't know how long they were going to be there. They just wanted to do some jobs, and they didn't want to tear him away too quickly. And at the same time, two other people said, why should you stay away? You go. So my friend accompanied me at that point, and my friend and me, Theo was very excited. We took both cars. We knew we had to for some reason. And so he was super happy to be going. He went off to bounce, but the energy in that place, horrible. So we go upstairs, and at this point, there's a lot of new faces. Most of the great old people, like the old people of that crowd, have left for their own reasoning of it, finding it to be a poisonous environment. And get this, I'm only there to let my boy play. Didn't want to freaking speak. Just wanted to let my boy play, and again, go on another week pretending that I'm fine and still not falling for the trick of tittle-tattling. So to divide this group, but it's already divided away from me. Most of the good people that are really enlightened and actually in it for the right reasons have fucking moved on. So we get a bit of a shock at how many have moved on, and you know, but we're there. Theo's off playing, and we are literally being met with glares. People who used to cuddle me the moment they saw me, stepping away, trying to say as little as possible. It was embarrassing, honestly. It was like being in a playground and kids who've never learned anything trying to bully another or a few. Again, reflections of the government. So you see, you're trying to fucking fight. So then it gets to a point of energy where and one or two people were there of the old crowd that said hello, that really haven't been told anything and don't even know anything because I haven't told them. They did say hello. I see somebody, and this broke my heart at the time. There's a little boy who bought me that feather that I'll treasure forever and send him love all of the time. And his mum, you know, and me got on so well, and tried to be really helpful. And, you know, she was helpful to me sending clothes for Theo because a little boy was a little bit bigger than Theo. So it worked. And that little boy bought me that feather, and I promised him a wand, and I remembered to take it because I thought I never know when I'm ever going to go back there. So if ever. So I remembered to take the wand that I'd carved for him, and I saw his mummy, and his mummy, who would usually come over, say hello, give me a hug, no matter who was speaking or what, really felt uncomfortable and said hello, but didn't want to do that. So I spoke to the little boy, gave him his wand, and he was thrilled. It was the most beautiful moment, but it was met by the obvious discomfort of the mummy, who used to feel so close. So that was one beautiful thing that happened that night and worth it for going. So the next thing is I feel that energy and I say to my friend, we need to leave. Even Theo wanting to play isn't enough. So we go to leave. This man, Philip, jumps in front of me and is walking backwards towards the very narrow metal stairs and telling me you're not going anywhere. Still not mentioning anything about the car. Never sent a message, never sent a letter, a solicitor's letter. Why? Because he hasn't got a fucking leg to stand on in law. So at that point, he's in front of me and saying, you're not going anywhere. He walks, I keep walking. I'm saying, don't shout in here, Phil. There's children present. I won't shout in here, Phil, whatever your problem is, leave it away from here. I need to get my baby and go. He gets down a few of the stairs just enough and then he stops. My friend's right behind me. My other friend, who was amazing and new friend, was there, I think, right beside my friend who'd gone with me. And this man gets one leg and straddles it across the stairs and gets another arm and straddles it across the banister and the railing and says, you're not going anywhere. And this man's pushing me. Why don't you get the CCTV out, Joe? Why don't you play that? Clear it all up now. So then the next thing is this man isn't moving. Joe, the manager, went and got Mal, this guy, who'll do anything he's told to do, apparently, by these people, who comes across not to sort out the problem, not to say to the man who is shouting his head off where there are children present, not knowing if my little Theodore can see what's going on to his mummy, or any other kid for that matter, or maybe the little kid who I'd given the wand to who loves me. And me saying this to him, not telling him, the manager didn't send him to make him quiet, no, in her premises where she allows people to pay to keep their children safe so they can play, because it's all for the kids. She sends him over and this person starts right here in my ear for where I am, stuck on the stairs now because there's other people gathered behind my two friends, starts shouting and bawling off his freaking nut, shouting and bawling in my ear, saying, get it, what you doing to him, leave him alone. I'm like, are you fucking for real? I want to get my baby and get out of here. He's stopping me. He's pushing me, Mal. Mal says, well, at least he's only pushing you, not shoving you down the stairs. Okay. He's broken a law. It's on CCTV, no doubt. And this man is telling me, this man here is allowed to lay his hands on me. Not once, not twice, more. This man keeps me here on the stairs, not making any sense at all, shouting and bawling where there are children present, children that the parents have paid for them to have a safe, happy environment to play in, away from all the bullshit of the world. And here they are, allowing these men to shout and bawl. And when I mean shout and bawl, they were shouting and bawling and trapping me and my friends in the stairwell where they are, me getting pushed back into my friend. My friends, the two women, having to say, keep your hands off her, leave her alone, move out the way. It's a good while that he keeps me here on the stairs. Manager doesn't come over to say, this isn't fair, this isn't right. You can't be pushing a woman on my stairs. You can't be pushing her, no matter how she's been pushed, Mal. By law, you can't. So at that point, this man eventually moves, but he's walking in front of me. And I think I just want to get out of the building first, get mobile so that we can then get Theo. But initially, I want to get out of this fucking building where this man is going to follow me anywhere I go, shouting and bawling, me desperately not wanting Theodore, who has never, the one baby I've got, who has never witnessed a man be cruel to a woman, who has never witnessed a man be angry that way. Congratulations. You give me my babies first. Both of you. So I'm trying to get him out the building. He's following me wherever I go. So he's in front of me and walking and he's saying, you're going nowhere, you're going nowhere. What the fuck? What do you mean I'm going nowhere? We get out of the building, right in front of the building. So no doubt there'll be CCTV. Joe, we get out of the building and this man has cornered me and my friend. So the wall is here and they are here. And the other man that is helping him, Mal, so Philip and Mal, I mean, shouting and bawling in my face. Philip having pushed me, I don't know how many times, trying to grab my arm. To the women that were protecting me, the two women that were protecting me, they were having to shout numerous times, take your hands off her, get off her, don't grab at her. Then a crowd starts to form. Mark Steele standing there, looking, grinning. Many other men, Robin, standing there, grinning. Another man out of the military, standing, watching. Doing nothing to protect the kids from hearing this bullshit. Nothing to protect a woman and a child initially. No matter what they believe, you would think they would say this isn't the right way. Not where there's children. Cowards, absolute cowards. So at this point, this is becoming like a ritual shaming. And I'm thinking that already. Trying to think, how do I get out of this? So it goes on so long. And at this point, I feel so separated from Theodore, not knowing what he's already seen, not knowing what he can already hear. And I say to my friend, we're going to have to just try and bring him out and hopefully just get past them. And they won't, you know, they won't do this in front of a child. So my friend goes to get him, shaking, gets the little boy ready, his coat on and everything, shaking. And we'll bring my little boy out, 6 years old. And what do these two men do that say they're fighting for freedom and fighting for the kids? They get even freaking louder. They look like giant freaking monsters to my little boy, to the point where my friend had to then take him back inside as quickly as possible, away from them. So at this point, I've got my little boy trapped in a space because of these fucking cowards shouting at me. This Mal guy saying, you're a bitch, you're lying, you're lying, it was a loan, it was and this other man saying it was a gift, it was a loan, there's a lease. There's no fucking lease. Produce it, please. So at this point, I'm standing there panicking about to get Theodore out. My friend's panicking about how to get Theodore out. My other friend trying to do everything she can to protect me. At this point, this manager of this premises, Airbox Cramlington, this manager decides to come out and not tell these guys where to go in a space where she's got children's playing. No, not tell them to shut up or where to go. To speak to me and my friend like shit and tell us to come inside. And me saying, well, no, if I come inside, he follows and the kids are in there. My kid is in there. I just want to get past and get my baby and go home. To which point she's nasty and says, just come inside. And I'm like, well, for what, Joe? So that he can take the car, she says, it's his car. No, legally it's not. 2, morally it's not. The only reason he has changed his mind, if I give a gift, if I say I want to donate to a good cause, and then I decide to go and push my way in or break in to that good cause, say it's a shop, and say, no, I'm sorry, I'm taking that donation back. And then, oh, no, I just want to break in and cause a load of damage, a load of worry, and then I'll be, and then I won't, you know, then I want to hang that gift that I gave you over your head. I want to coerce you. Reflections of the government. So at this point, we realize we are alone, this little group of 3 women, with these men and with this audience, the audience that he wanted. So eventually we managed to push past, and again, he starts walking in front. He starts, sorry, before we do that, he says he's going to firebomb the car. Okay. You firebomb the car, me saying, well, you're not going to do it here. So I obviously know that that's a threat to firebomb the car at my home. Then he says, I'll disable the car so you'll never know if it's safe to drive. Again, witnesses can be called. At that point, we'll push past, and but they push forward, and we've got this man Mal bouncing, literally bouncing, shouting his head off, not making a heap of fucking sense, not listening to a word I say. We get to the top where the car is. I think if I press the button just before I get to the car, I'll be able to get in. This man pushes past me and sits in the car seat. This whole ritual went on for over 90 minutes, so I'm told. Being screamed at, shouted at, having the manager come back out again. And in the midst of all of this, having been pushed on the stairs, having been pushed and grabbed at outside, she comes up to me and says, did Philip hurt such and such? Because if he did, then I need to know. What the fuck's that got to do with it, Joe? If you're saying that he can't physically hurt another woman, then you've witnessed him on your premises physically hurt another woman, hurting another woman. So at this point, I know it's personal. Somehow, some way, somebody I've never done anything to, always spoke of respecting a business, respecting a, you know, doing what she's doing. We know that this is like, all right, okay, so this whole space is being bought off. So we then are standing there, and this Mal actually says to me, as if that had happened, if he'd done that to your house, you would have put it all over Facebook. It's like, no, what the fuck? No, I would not. You don't know me at all. And said, if that's the people you hang around with that you think that's only real if it's on Facebook, well, fuck me. Enlightened. And then he says, if it was real, you would have gone to the police. The very system that a lot of us are not happy with at all. Again, I state this to him. He gets all confused. He's about to blow a gasket, so he just shouts on a little bit more. At this point, my other friends who were still there and we didn't realize and hadn't realized what was going on came out and tried to appease this crowd. Philip's never stopped shouting in the background of all of this, sitting in the car seat of the car. And he's going on and on about me being a witch. He was doing that the whole time. You're a witch. You're an evil witch with your teas and things. The same teas that he loved a few months ago. So making a big deal about this witch thing, you know, again, that ancient story, that ancient loop, where the people kill the enlightened people. And the cycle goes on. So at this point, he's going on and on about me being a witch. He's being caught out on his lies by my other friends who have then joined the fray. He's being caught out on his lies. He's tripping himself up. And this goes on and on and on. And there's a crowd of men, crowd of people, just watching it happen. They were having fun. The two men were, it was like a fucking pornographic, energetic feast. It's disgusting. And then at that point, I'm tired. My baby is still in this building that is quite far down at this point. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get him out of there. And I'm a fuck going to let this man bully me because I know what he's done to make him act like this now. I didn't make him act like that. I never said come to my home like that. In fact, I told him and gave him plenty of chances. And I actually even I stayed quiet about it. It was this man that actually told everybody. Why? Because he's guilty of other things. Why? Because he's terrified of being seen. So he's getting caught out on his lies. He's getting caught out every which way. At this point, he's claiming there's a lease on the car and he's phoned his friend. And yes, he's confirming there's a lease. Where's the fucking lease? Where's the lease? And people think in this crowd that I'm being awkward at this point because I haven't transferred any funds to him now that I've fallen out with him, even though the only reason I've not fallen out with him, let him go, is because he totally acted out of whack coming to my house, coming to where my babies are with that kind of energy or intent. So at this point, I'm knowing how serious it is because this witch thing is like getting real deep that he's spouting off. Eventually, the two friends that joined late on, that had taken Theodore the previous week, and who really thought, because they know I haven't gone around doing what this man has said I've gone around doing. Bearing in mind, this is the first time he's ever brought this up in front of his crowd, in front of his audience. They were so tired too. They literally were saying, what is it going to take for you to let this woman and her baby go home? We care about them. What is it going to take? And he literally, with the energy of, £500. What did my friends do? Because they wanted me and Theodore out of that situation. Dropped £500 in his account. And said, move out the way now, bud. He didn't want to. He was calling them a liar that they haven't transferred that, even though the ding went off. They didn't transfer that for the car. They transferred that under duress. Another law broken. Under duress. To get me and my boy out of that situation. Because it wasn't safe. These people were unhinged. They did not care that there was a child involved. They did not care that there was other children involved that should have just been there to play. Neither did the manager. They were getting more and more irate, more and more dangerous. I look up at the crowd, not even realizing that my friends have done this initially. And I'm looking around at this crowd, looking at these men that are leaders. Mark fucking Steele standing there looking at me. One of the men that would have been big enough to just say, out. Not the place, not the time, not even on my side, just I don't care what this is, not the place, not the time, and not how we go around doing it. And then maybe if they'd listened, they would have realized that, well, fuck me. Not the reason either. So I'm standing my ground with this guy. And this guy has gone round, dramatizing it all, lying his fucking head off. Literally, and these people are so daft that they believe that she's telling everybody I'm a stalker. Well, who's told me? Well, he did. And I stayed quiet and I kept speaking. He's literally been like poison in a pool, and you've allowed it to grow. The manager has allowed it to grow. So at this point, he's still arguing. He doesn't want this to end. He's got a flatbed coming. He's got police coming at one point. They're saying, well, if you're believing it, phone the police. What? Bring the police to where the children are. Okay, should have done. I should have done. So at that point, I finally get, well, before that, I feel the phone vibrate, and it's my other children trying to get in touch with me, needing to get in touch with me. I can't answer the phone because I can't let them hear Mal and Phil still shouting, often not shouting at people and me. So at this point, I still haven't got Theodore. And I start to cry, desperate. I might have started to cry before the money dropped. Forgive me if it's a bit blurry. So I start to cry, and I am gutted that I am crying. I'm gutted because my whole body's shaking, adrenaline's kicking in. I need my baby out of that fucking building, and you know, I need to get home to my other babies. So at that point, I did, my whole body was shaking. It was so surreal to be in that situation where you think that the people that are saying they're so enlightened or they're seeking enlightenment would never witness such a thing without doing anything. Some of them laughing. Robin found it entertaining. Some of them joining in. Andrea, you found, you know, you wanted to have that 2 pence, didn't you? All of them saying I should just get a taxi home, take out all of my stuff, my daughter's horsey stuff, and get a taxi home. Why the fuck should I lose out? Because at this point, I want people to remember I have had so many cancellations because this guy goes from every group, from Hartlepool to Newcastle. Poisoning. So he's lost me more money through slander. Slandering of himself, saying that I'm doing it. Crazy, I know. Narcissists are. And then I'm expected to empty the car that he made such a fuss of, saying he bought it so that we could see the stars, so that Theodore could see the stars. Empty the car, explain to my baby why I'm shaking like a leaf and why all of his stuff is now in my friend's car, and we're going home. Like that. Fuck you, and fuck you, and fuck you. Because if it was your business, if it was your home, it would be a very different fucking story. And I'm telling you now, you're enabling a man where this kind of thing will come up again. And shame on you. So then I get in, before I get in the car, I'm shaking like a leaf and I start to cry. And what does this man do? He gets excited. Oh, the tears are here. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, fucking ha. Even shouts over to his pal, Mal, look, the tears are here. We did it. We broke a woman into tears by stopping her from getting her child out of somewhere in her property. Because it was a gift, a donation for the good work that I do. And you've actually limited for now that good work that I do by poisoning many clients. It doesn't make sense how people can see that. Why? They never once, not one of them, have my side of the story. One, because I didn't go around dividing the group, and two, because none of them have sat and asked, including that manager. And so this man comes out of the crowd, hadn't been there watching, I don't think, for long, mustn't have known what was going on, and comes out of the crowd. And I thank you to that man too. Obviously I've thanked my friends anyway, but thank you to that man too, because he broke through that crowd. And for a moment, Phil was still shouting in the background, managed to stop that right at me. And I looked into his eyes and there was absolute kindness. And he just said, I'm so worried about you. This is awful what has happened. I'm so worried about you. You can't drive home like that. And I just said, I've got to, I need to. I'm okay, I'm okay. I wasn't okay. I was shaking like a leaf. And it was rubbed in my face that I was crying. This is the man who goes around on protesting. He's protesting for freedom, for the women. He's so proud of the women and what they've been doing for the communities all this time. This is the man who acts like a hero and he's a narcissistic control freak. And the only reason he got upset with me on that day was because he had the permission of the manager and others to do so. And he was feeling emboldened by the audience that he had. And that audience, for the most part, apart from my friends and apart from this man, obeyed. So I get in the car, tell my friend I'll drive down to the double doors if she'll go in and get Theodore because I'm a mess. And I was watching him because I thought, if you say anything to my friend while she's carrying Theodore out. So he's ranting on and still shouting on inside the building where other people's children are, where my child is, to somebody about how hard done by he's been. So then at the end of the day, I'm waiting and I see people's eyes who I've had beautiful talks with. And they say they'll stand up for people and the wannabe community. They just looked at me and put their heads down. So I tell my friend I can't drive, and she's shaking too, bless her heart. I can't drive and I can't drive the baby home. So she ends up putting Theodore in her car and I try to follow. I have to pull over many times because my legs jump in with adrenaline. I get home to a safe space to my friend's mom's house and I'm jumping. My adrenaline is jumping. She's making me a sweet tea. My friend's shaking. Poor Theodore is confused. What's going on? This being the same man that on Thursdays used to make such a fuss of throwing my boy up and teaching him a handshake. And he was a monster in front of him. And so was his pal. So at this point, I'm thinking, what the fuck? What has he done to that same crowd that, not same crowd, because a lot of the good ones have left, but that crowd that I've done nothing but good to. Nothing, even to the manager, giving her free teas and stuff and free advice. Nothing but good to. What could he say? But it goes deeper. He just resonates with them because they are lying to themselves when they say they're in it for freedom, they're in it for sovereignty. They're in it for control of a certain amount of people. They're in it for the monetary value. They're in it for their freedoms, but not other people's freedoms. That, you know, they're reflecting all of that. They're in it for corruption. Whoever's throwing the money around is the most welcome. Even when there are problems, they'll be buried because if they're throwing money around, then they're most welcome. So at this point, my friend's mom and my mom, it's like, you phone the police or we will. Seeing us shaking, seeing Theodore confused and playing with him, keeping him distracted. So phone the police, and the police are a mess. We went through triage, but because of what I said, and it was very little compared to the full story, because of what I said, they actually said, so we're opening up a log and they'll be in touch with you. Because of COVID, things are taking longer. So I get the police phone call and I'm just telling them what happened and very little of it. And it said, right, so we're opening up a crime number for stalking and an S47 assault, I think they said. So that crime number is open. And our poor mothers wouldn't have it any other way. Gave them a sense of safety. Of course, the way the police are, I'm still waiting for the follow-up. And I'm sort of was glad of that because I thought, you know, this is going to be sorted because this is clear cut. This man has gone round in every group he can possibly go around in. And he has taken over. He's stood up in front of the courts and on other people's days and literally rammed it down people's throat that I'm in the wrong, blah, 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 blah. And some people have just swallowed it. Some people have just been cowards and not wanted to say anything. And some people genuinely are like, what the fuck, I don't want to know. So This has gone on and on and on. He had his audience on Thursday and the manager absolutely agreed with it and felt emboldened by it. He felt emboldened by it, and she was quite happy for two grown men to stop a woman from taking her baby home, and also to illegally remove a vehicle from somebody, and also to stop other children on her premises who'd been paid for to have a safe space to live, to play in. That was okay. All of that was okay by her. The truth. Witnesses, again, can be called. So then after that, I get a joke of a letter that actually adds to the case of harassment. It brings up a litany of charges, goes on about at least it doesn't exist. And so I've stayed quiet, I've taken other people's opinions, but you know, this is dangerous because this Thursday just gone, my friend goes to get some things, not there long at all. And the manager, who is in it for the truth, who is there to unite people, is in it for the kids, says to my friend, who is the most independent thinker, who is the most divine and sovereign of all of us, probably, you're under whose spell? Again, the witch thing. Honestly, if they'd had a pyre that night and the fire was hot and strong, you wouldn't have put it past to be thrown on it. These people, they're listening to somebody that goes on about witchcraft and this and that and other, not understanding the fact that half of the problem that we're in this space, this control and this oppression right now, is the fact that people were labeled witches, healers were labeled witches, people who could help with spirituality and with physicality, with herbs, were witches. They go on about ivermectin in natural substances, but at the same time, they have gotten so afraid somehow, some way, stirring, maybe it's Gemma, extorting the truth, maybe it's Gemma, Phil, Mao, and they've got themselves stirred up into quite a nerve-wracking frenzy about me. Beforehand, I was the spiritual enlightener. Now I'm the terrible witch. You're under her fucking spell. That man couldn't be put under a spell if it was, you know, Jack D himself, John D himself. Fucking lunatic. So my friend obviously says, what? I said, no, I'm not actually standing up for my friend. Not actually standing up for Jenny. Love her, care for her. I'm not standing up for her though. I'm standing up for truth, Joe. Truth. You heard of it? I'm standing up for the fact that there's this, and this law being broken right now. Just didn't get that. The next thing is, Mal comes up and has a go at him again, and he's like, oh, can you not hear what you're saying? Can you not hear what is happening here? No, Mal can't. Mal goes away. At another point, Joe, this manager, comes up and starts again. Basically, my friend didn't give her what she wanted, which was, it's okay, Joe. You did everything you could, Joe. Your business is great, Joe. Not going to get it because it's not the fucking truth. Not out of my friend, not out of him. And so next thing is, this woman literally just walks away, starts shouting for no reason. When Mal's back in view, Mal jumps like a dog to attention. Let's have another go. Good job, my friend's got a backbone of a fucking lion. So yeah, it became very clear that it is a history loop, and that you could talk to these people, they'll take what they want from you. You can get energetically drained helping as many as you like. You can physically drained going around helping as many as you like. And a lot of people will be truly thankful and will become great, great friends. A lot of people will just take that help and be thankful. Fine. A lot of people will have built bonds like I have with few core people worth everything. You know, a lot of people will have started to see faces like this. And right now, I am being pressured. And I know a lot of it comes from love, actually. But I am being pressured now. Since this man has suddenly decided it's not a gift, it's a loan, it's a lease. But he's done that after he's gone round ruining my business and reputation for a long time. He's done that after all of that financial damage that way. And don't worry, my success is there. Don't need you. Just that I gave a lot of time to you and your so-called movement. You are not the movement, Joe. Neither are you, Philip. Neither are you, Mal. Neither are you, Gemma. So these people also, was there not a peace constable there? Yoo-hoo! Fucking woman being stopped from getting a child out of somewhere safely. Yoo-hoo! And somebody trying to steal something, property that is theirs. Yoo-hoo! Somebody trying to take money under duress. Peace constable, where the fuck are you? Too busy stirring upstairs. Feeling very comfortable right now. Don't get too fucking comfortable. So at this point, I'm getting pressured, some parts by love, but the other part by absolute fucking hatred, to say, give that car back. You owe that man $2,000. Fuck no, he owes me money. He's been going around ruining my business. He came to my fucking home. He tried my fucking door. I've been honestly worn down these last few weeks, and please, 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 if you love me, do not send me a message angrily saying I should have kept in touch or told you. It has been fucking exhausting. It's took up so much fucking valuable time. And so I love you, and I've cried out to you many times before, many of you. But, you know, right now, I'm making everybody aware of what's been going on, because I haven't even had time nor energy to individually message people to let them know what's happening with me. And if I've managed to call you and then not call you back, it's just been so difficult. And then on top of that, I'm still the mother. I'm still the person that will help anybody. I'm still the person that's trying to keep a business afloat. So, you know, it's been draining. And part of that drain has actually come from a place of love, in that, you know, they're saying, give the car back. You know, we'll buy a car. I could get a car. I had a car. No, the principle is that this man changed the rules, changed the goalposts. Does it sound fucking similar? Like a narcissistic government? Changed the goalposts because he got caught out. Sounds similar? That's what Boris has been doing this whole time, changing the goalposts because they get caught out at something that they don't like being caught out on. So they create a distraction. Or they change the rules. Oh, this man, nothing. And if he wants the car, he can take me to court. If I don't get to court first, that is. Try wiping the CCTV. That'll look suspicious, won't it? At the end of the day, this stops here. Whatever you do to me, even if that is just slander, it is being noted. It is being recorded. So I owe you nothing, Philip K. Gill. And at this point, I actually don't care, because anybody that knows me, my family on YouTube know me better than you. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not about money. I'm not about that at all. That I'm self-sufficient. I would get myself sorted. But it is a point of, I will not let another narcissistic man run through mine and my friend's life and other women's life, Philip. You don't know which other women that you've been in contact with that have gotten in touch with me. No, you don't. Since I spoke out on Facebook very vaguely, they didn't need any invitation to tell me. So at this point, I'm getting pressure from both sides to give in, because he is down on money. No, he's not down on money. He's down on luck, because he tried to go too far with me, because I didn't answer the phone. That's what he said. He came to my fucking house because I didn't answer the phone to him on Telegram for 2 days. And he tried my fucking handle. He lied when he dropped that printer off that nobody asked him to drop off. He lied when he said he called up the stairs. Anybody that knows my house, me standing right at the top of the stairs, my friend would have heard through the speakerphone, and so would I. Again, witnesses can be called. This man has caused a lot of fucking trauma, a lot of fucking time to be lost. He has affected my children on more than one occasion now. Did this ritual fucking parade, this shaming parade that lots of you joined in on. Whoever he's lent money to, you know, I know about you, because he's told everybody how wrong it is that he lent you that money and you're doing this now and you're talking about this. Why? He didn't stay in his control. So be careful. Anybody that this man's donated to, be careful. Because right now his pockets will be open. Gemma, you should fucking just dive in. But he'll call you back on it when he doesn't like what you're doing. Or he doesn't like you calling him out on what he has done. And so I won't give in, because will this man go around to every one of these groups and admit that actually she didn't tell you anything? I told you. Will he go around and do that? Will he fuck? Who's thinking that? He's already done enough for people to say to him, men to say to him, pack it in, mate. You haven't got a leg to fucking stand on. And quite honestly, you deserve the fucking lesson. It's not happening in the community. Well, it is, but by a very few. Thankfully, there are a very strong few. Honestly, it's unbelievable. But there are predators like this, narcissistic predators like this, that join these groups deliberately. Why? Because the naivety is unreal and the fucking corruption is unreal, i.e. who's got the money. So at the point I'm at now, I'm at the point of, yeah, you had me over a barrel at Airbox because you knew I had my child with me. You knew my child was going to witness things that I would never let him witness. You had me over a barrel that way. I have you over so many legal barrels. And nobody wants to go down that route. So here's notice in that I will not give you a penny because by law it is a gift. And I've got those words over and over and over and over again on message. The whole time I was feeling uncomfortable. And after. I've got witnesses that can be called. I've got witnesses that can be called to the absolute disgusting and vile behaviour that was seen on Thursday the Thursday of the 20th of the 1st. I've got a list, a category of laws that you're breaking just in your stupid fucking letter that you sent. And yeah, I think you're unhinged. And yeah, I think you're dangerous. If you do anything to me now, it's going to be too fucking obvious. And I refuse to live in fear. I refuse to live in fear of the judgment of others, because quite frankly, that judgment for a lot of people has not been that great. Since this has all happened, my friend put a post up on Facebook, and there were women there that absolutely were disgusted about what they saw. One woman being absolutely horrified, frozen. There are other women that have then messaged me or my friends and talked about what they've been through at Airbox. Guess what? Through some of the small group of men that are there, that are very welcomed. This one lady, well, two ladies, I think, reported it to Joe, the manager. And just like me, they were told to stay in their corners, they're adults. But that wasn't a stay in the corner thing. Apparently that was another assault. So, you know, and that lady's in the process of looking into things. It is unreal, the poison that's out there, but it is also unreal and beautifully unreal, the way that the truthful ones, the way that the honorable ones shine so brightly, so brightly. And I am so happy and so blissful that there are those around me, and you know exactly who you are, because it gives you some hope. Because right now, honestly, if this is the freedom movement, I'm fucked. So, you know, I'm calling it out. I've stayed silent and it's done jack shit. It's actually emboldened them to go around ruining my business. I'm sorry if I've missed your readings. I will catch up on them, I promise you. But after that night, I've been in a bit of shock. I didn't stop shaking until the next day. And it wasn't shaking through fear, it was adrenaline. I kept going back to the fact that it was so unbelievable what was happening for so long, but it was even more unbelievable and surreal. And that is the experience of the others that were there that are standing in truth. It was worse almost to witness how many people would just let that happen. And not just let that happen, back that up like the manager did. So it's okay to push some women, but it's not okay. It's okay to push a witch, actually. That's basically it, isn't it? So this is clearing it up. And, you know, whether this is going to court, whether this is finally him seeing the light, or whether this is a case of, you know, continuing to go down the avenue of the crime numbers that are already created, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but I will not give that man anything, because he's stripped away from me so much more. And maybe, just maybe, he needs to learn a lesson. Maybe, just maybe, it'll stop him from giving with bad intent. Maybe, just maybe, it'll stop him, it'll make him think twice about recalling a gift, changing the goalposts, changing the label of it, or thinking he has extra rights, extra visitation rights, because he's donated that gift, whatever that gift may be. Maybe, just maybe. But it's actually not just me that has picked up on or suffered from what is going on there. And it seems to me the crowd is getting bigger, and they literally, you know, in that crowd that was there on Thursday, that weren't there trying to help me out, they were literally like on this whole witch thing. The Christians made up the word witch. when they came in and slaughtered people. They were healers. They were the naturalists. So when you teasing me, going on about my teas and my herbs, you better think twice, because you literally repeating history. You're literally doing what they want you to do. And so I won't do this, because I think people think also that if I just do this, it will stop. No, the Thursday just gone was the Thursday, sorry, just before the 20th of Thursday. When that was, it was the first time he's ever asked for that. First time he ever mentioned the lease or anything like that. Why? Just because he had an audience. So, you know, they can't just go around like that. They can't just ruin people's business. They can't slander people like that with not an ounce or shred of truth. You can't just do that and then be expected to go and do what you've done by moving these goalposts and trying to accost a woman and child like that, to keep them separated, to laugh when she cries, laugh for the fact that she can't drive home hardly. Unbelievable, unfucking believable. But what I will not do is crumble. What I won't do this time is succumb. Fuck your judgments. If you know me and all I've done is good for you, all I've done is try to help you, then, you know, make your own ideal, make your own idea up, make your own decision. But if you are a judgmental idiot who thinks you've got even any right to judge, and carry on, because I'll protect my kids. I really am in it for the kids. I haven't just woken up a year ago or 2 years ago. And I have done a lot of very, very good work. And it's disgusting what is going on up there. It's disgusting what was allowed to happen. And it's almost mind-boggling to witness. I feel so much for our ancestors that went through this, our healers, our enlightened ones that went through this, not by even the hands of the government half of the time or of the religion, but by the hands of those who got so fanatic without any understanding or wisdom. And they went and attacked their own. They went and attacked the ones that could help, the ones of nature. It's absolutely disgusting, but there is a reason. There's a reason that I went through this. There's a reason that I'm being guided on my steps. There's a reason that, you know, all of these brilliant people have come together and actually can see each other. There's a reason that certain faces had to be shown. There's a reason that certain intent had to be uncovered. And it will keep unfolding, but it will not be a drama in my life any longer. It will not be a space that takes up all of my time and effort any longer. It's simple. If you think you've got a legal right to that car, lift it. You can explain to the police whether you have or haven't got a legal right to the car. But do not harass me. Do not ever affect my children. And don't ever laugh at me when I cry. People cannot see how quickly this man's mask changed. And right now you might be under that thing, but I guarantee you he'll show his face. And I hope it's not your sister or your niece or anyone else of that nature. I hope it's not anybody, but it's plain to say it's going to be somebody. So that is it. And that's why I've been away, and I'm putting it out there because that's what I do. And we'll have spiritual lessons come from this. We'll have guidance that come from this. And, you know, it's going to happen. And I think it's happening on a much wider scale to many people. Because since then, a lot of people have been coming to me and saying, yeah, there's been problems in this group, like there's been a real hatred, or there's been a real divide, or there's been this, that, or somebody else is being bullied by other women. And so there is a real energy and separation of it. But again, the ones that are really able to stand in truth and really understand sovereignty and divinity, really are of a greater understanding of spirituality, then, you know, they're shining even brighter. And the distorted, the dark, the talking behind one's back, you know, are being shown as well, much more clearly. And that's dangerous. You've got to know who's got your back. When you are standing up against tyranny from a governmental level, then you have to know who has your back, and you have to know actually who is intelligent enough to make an unbiased decision or an unbought decision. That's really, really important going forward. So I love you all. Thank you for the love I know I'm going to get from my beautiful people here on YouTube in particular, some over on Facebook. Thank you, and I'm giving love back to you. I've been dying to get back, and I will get back in touch with you regarding making arrangements for readings. I will get the chance to speak to you. But you know, it's been pretty traumatic. Theo was really confused. Apparently we're now barred. The two people that went there and didn't shout in front of the children, didn't do what this guy had said we'd done. The two people that went there just to let a child play. We didn't want to go. We don't want to be with them. But just to let a child play are the ones that are barred. Go fucking figure. So yeah, I'm putting it out there. Leave a comment if you've been having these energies affect you or somebody around you, you know. Let's talk about it. And because it's a definite thing over here in the UK. It's a definite thing. And I won't be fooled by it. I see the energy in it. It's not nice, but you know, I'm not being bullied by it. No. So it's out there. This is the video. Share it about if you want to. Listen to it if you want to, or don't. You know, but you might finally hear another side. But when you're hearing it, think about how you'd feel. Somebody come into your house like that. Not just once, but again after they've been warned. Somebody lying about them coming into the house and shouting up the stairs. And then going on to ruin your business. Well, try to ruin your business. You'll fail. So much love, much balance, and much wholeness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to my beautiful friends that are friends, but then in this situation are just unbiased. And they stood back and witnessed things for themselves before making any decision, and were actually forced into a stance through what they were witnessing. That is special to me because I can rely on your guidance as you can rely on mine, and I have your back for good. Loyalty is firmly in place for sure, and you know who you are, all of you. So and the others, you know, that just want to believe in the drama because maybe I say things that trigger you, maybe it's because there are inner wounds there that you don't want to look at, whatever it is. I don't send hatred to you. You can go fuck yourself, but I don't send hatred to you. You know, I send a sense of deeper understanding to you, hopefully, in the future. So much love, balance, and wholeness. Mwah. Love you all.